Shalom, everyone. I just wanted to promote yet another chapter from the Hebrew Cochin Matthew that we are uploading to our website. So, if you haven't been following along, just to update you, go to projecttruthministries.org, look up New Testament, and from there, you can see all our progress on the Hebrew Matthew from chapters 1 now to chapter 9. All this week we were looking at chapter 9. I was proofreading it as well. We were double checking, making sure there's not a lot of mistakes or misspellings and better translations for the verse. And I'm happy to say that after all of that, for that chapter, and we keep doing this for every single chapter, that it is finally done. It is uploaded and ready for you to see. But I want you to see, this is the version we have, right? We use the Gaster, the Cochin, and another brother who translated the Cochin on his own. We use his work as a source and a reference. So when we are doing our translation, we're checking all of these. But obviously, the final version, we do not have the rights to his version. It's his version. The Gaster as well, we do not have the rights for the Gaster. So all we stick with is the Cochin, and we use the other scriptures from the TS 2009 and the Aramaic. So you can check all that with any Bible translation that you already have and check out our translation. But usually this is just how it looks when we are editing it, when we are putting every single word in, and it makes it easier for us to compare a lot of other things and check the Hebrew. So I just wanted to point out that I'm gonna show 5 verses right now, starting with verse 6 of chapter 9, verse 21, verse 23, and 25 and 36. So going back to verse 6. Now, this is the cool thing that you're going to be able to do when you go to our website and you download these as free PDFs. And then eventually when we publish the book, you can buy the book. But the verse reads as follows, "And you will know that the Son of Man has power on earth to pardon sins. Then he said to him who was sick, 'Rise, take your bed, and go to your house.'" Now, a lot of us, when you're looking at these words, it's very interesting. So the word for the Son of Man has power. It's an Aramaic word of sultanot, right? That's the Aramaic word. And it's the word for power and authority. So you can translate this verse yourself. This is the cool thing about the interlinear tables that we are providing for you, is that when you're checking all of these out, when we have all these things ready, you can see how we translated the verse and how you can translate the verse as well. So just like for here, this word, you can say power, you can say authority, right? And you can do this for a lot of other words, and you'll see in the verses I provide next. Just like right here where he says, "Rise, take your bed and walk," right? You can check it in the Hebrew here. You can use the word rise, arise, get up, stand up, and walk. And then here in verse 21, it says, "She thought in her heart, 'If I only take hold of his garment, I will be healed.'" And that word for healed here is mitrap. That word is mitrape. Now, what this means here, and you can see it in the interlinear box, is it means recover, and it means to be healed. So she said, if you can translate it this way, so she said in her heart, "If only I can touch his garment, I can recover," right? See, so this is the cool thing. Also, it's a gender mismatch. And even back here in verse 23, it just reads a little different. It doesn't really change anything, but it just reads a little different. And that's what makes this very interesting at times. This chapter, there's much more I can point out to you, but I'm only pointing out these like 5 verses for a quick one. "And Yeshua came to the house of that important man and saw them wailing with a sect of lamenters," not flute players, people playing music and making noise. No, lamenters, people that are lamentating or lamentating. Oh, they're wailing, they're crying, they're a band. A sect is more of the word that we decided to go with. And then again in verse 25, I actually translated this verse, FYI. It was because I recently learned something interesting about certain words in Hebrew, how they are pronounced with the im ending. And so I translated this verse myself. So when you see verse 25, that's me. "And when he entered with them, he grabbed her by both her hands, and the daughter rose up." that is the best way I think it should be translated. Janice Baca obviously checked it after I did it, and this is how it turns out and translates. So looking at the words, it was so funny because I learned something new that night for my Hebrew, and it's in the word bidayam, bidayim, bidayim. Now, when you have the ayim ending versus bidim, right? Bidim would be by hands. It's plural for hands, yadim, but it's bidim because the bet means in, with, by. So, yeah, it should be yadim, but it's yadayim, and that makes it plural, but in the dual form, meaning two. So he grabbed her by both of her hands, and so her would be implied. That's why it's in italics. So he grabbed her by both of her hands. And notice how the regular translations just say that he went in and took her by the hand, right? Singular. No, by both her hands. It was kind of interesting because I just learned that, the dual form, and it was from a video, and then I got to actually apply it when I translated the verse. And obviously for the word to rise, kam means to rise. She arose, she got up, right? And so we went with she rose. She rose up. Now this one too is very interesting because no matter how you look at it, it's correct. But this is this is how you guys know, this is what we deal with when we're translating, right? So the verse reads, when he thus saw all the people of the land, he had mercy on them, lest they become worn out, sitting like sheep without a guide. Now look at the other verses. Look at the scriptures. Look at the Aramaic. And you could even see here that the other guy we were using for his Hebrew Matthew source of Cochin, he used the word shepherd. But we have the word shepherd in italics because it's an adjective. So meaning shepherds are people that guide, right? So here is why we translated it. He saw them sitting like sheep without a guide. But we put the word shepherd in parentheses because that's what we mean by without a guide. But that's how it's been translated. And so you can see that maybe people that don't know Hebrew would think that automatically and just say like people without a shepherd, like sheep without a shepherd. But it's technically without a guide because the word here is roe, a guide, one who guides. Shepherd would be without the vav. This is what's cool about the breakdowns. Every word is broken down for you. You can translate the verse yourself. You can see why we chose to translate it, and in some areas, yeah, you can say the same thing in different ways. That's the beauty of learning Hebrew, is understanding the meaning of the words so that you can translate, so that you can see how others translated, and then trust the translation or just see the different perspectives of literally the same word. So this is for chapter 9, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. All of them are really good. There's a lot to look forward in. Chapter 2, chapter 4, chapter 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Like, these are all very good. Each and every chapter, when you're breaking down the Hebrew grammatically and everything, there's so much to point out. It's not even funny. It's just that you can't make a video about everything. So I just wanted to point out these 5 verses, just the minor nuances and differences and the work that we put into this so that you guys can enjoy. You guys can have it for free, and then you can buy it when it's fully published, which is what I'm going to do for the entire New Testament and so on. So moving forward, guys, thank you guys for your support. And until next time, shalom.